Today I'm direct sowing so many seeds. I have very high ambitions and I'm hoping that today I can direct sow 9 different crops. I know that I probably won't be able to do that in the time that I have, but let's see what I can do. Before we get to the actual sowing, I want to show you what I did for prep work. For me, it's more than just putting the seeds in the ground. I have to prepare the soil and there's a couple of other things that I need to do too. For each bed that I plan on putting seeds in today, I've made sure that they have leaf grow, which is a leaf compost, mixed in with a vermiculite or perlite, whichever one I had. I also mixed in some bone meal and blood meal to just make sure that they have all of those macronutrients that those seeds need. Corn is going in this bed. This is my first cold frame and I plan on putting squash and zucchini into this bed because it's a shorter crop, and I'll make sure that it is done by the time I need to add all of my cool weather crops in September. This is cold frame number 2, and for this one I'm going to put cucumbers along the edge here and then beans in the middle. Watermelon is going in this bed, cantaloupe and honeydew, and this bed over here is going to get pumpkin. Now I did mess up a little bit and I forgot to add soil to the 2 side beds that I need to do edamame and cucumbers. These are our side beds and they're literally on the side of our garden. We've got 5 of them and this is number 4. In these beds I usually add all of my sunflowers or tomatoes or peppers and anything extra like edamame and more beans and cucumbers. For some reason, this side bed next to the strawberries is actually really hard to keep weed free. But what's really cool is that I am starting to see some sunflowers that have popped up. Speaking of strawberries, strawberry season might be my favorite. Oh my gosh, so good. Yum. And now I'm coming up on, oh my gosh, I see some more. Wow, look at you guys. More volunteer sunflowers. Not you, but sunflowers make me irrationally happy. I look at a sunflower and I can't help but smile. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna plant today is squash. Now I know that says zucchini, but it's a type of squash. Another thing I did to prep for today was I put all of the different varieties that I'm gonna grow on these little plant markers. This is how I'm able to tell what I'm growing. Usually by the mid-summer, I've got an idea of what everything is and where it's growing, but I don't know. When the plants are popping up at first, I really have no idea what is what because they all kind of look the same. So I've got these. They really do save me a lot of hassle. Now I've got 10 varieties that I'm going to be planting in this bed. Oh, I forgot. I also have a volunteer tomato that is growing that I just thought, why not? It's also in the perfect spot because it's in the corner of this bed. So I don't really care. I'll let it like grow kind of out like this so that it doesn't actually mess with the bed over here. Now this is really important. Before I plant a single seed, I'm putting these plant markers in first. Not only does this help me stay organized with the actual layout of the bed, but it also helps me remember what I've planted and what I still need to plant. Then again, to help me stay organized, I put the seed packets next to where I want to plant them. And now we get to the fun part, which is actually putting seeds into the ground. I want my squash plants to be about 12 to 18 inches apart. I find the farther apart they are, the better that they perform. Also, that allows me space to get to the base of the plant to check for the squash vine borer egg, which is really, really hard when the plants are too close together. Also, squash and zucchini can be super prolific if they're given the space and the nutrients to grow. I've got my smooth criminal seeds here, and I'm actually gonna put 2 seeds in every space that I want a plant to be. This just helps with germination, and I will thin them later. So I want these seeds to be about 1 inch deep. I'm gonna put 1, 2 in and cover. Now I'm gonna go over here and let's go right about here. 1, 2, and cover. So I planted here and I planted here, and that's about 18 inches apart. And then I'm gonna create like a little triangle and I'm gonna plant them 18 inches apart from each other over here. 1, 2, Perfect. Let's get you in there. Cover. Now I do that on repeat 9 more times. Fortunately, I think that's all I have time for today because my husband and I are going to an Orioles game tonight. Go O's! But it always takes way longer than I think it's going to, or I hope it's going to. So I'll get back at it tomorrow and I'll finish all of that direct sowing so that I can take that off of my checklist. We're here in the pepper field and today we're planting 3 varieties of corn. One variety is called honey and cream, the other is peaches and cream, and then this last one is actually popcorn. Before I direct sow any kind of seed, I always make sure that I have my labels ready to go because I put the labels into the soil before I actually plant the seeds. This helps me keep track of a lot of things. I also have some fertilizer here that I'm going to add to the soil before I plant the seeds as well. This bed has this grid watering system that I really like. I'm putting the grid in before I plant the seeds. This way I can plant around it instead of trying to put my hose or my watering system around any newly planted corn plants. Put this down like this. That goes on the outside. Done. Perfect. I've got 3 varieties, but I have 8 squares, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to divide the varieties among what I've got as far as space goes. I think what I'll do is I will do 3 squares as one variety of sweet corn, then 3 more squares as the other variety, and then 2 squares as the popcorn variety. I don't really want as much popcorn as I do the sweet corn, so I feel like that will just make a little bit more sense to have less of that one. So I'll just put that 1, 2, 3 in the middle of 3 here, and then the pop. The first thing I'm adding to the soil as far as fertilizers go is some blood meal. I'm just sprinkling it onto the top and then I will mix it back in later. This blood meal adds a ton of nitrogen to the soil, which is primarily what corn is going to need. So I'm going to add more of this blood meal than I probably normally would another bed, just to make sure that the corn really gets all of that nitrogen. The next thing I'm adding is this bone meal, and when I look at the NPK numbers, I see 4-12-0. So that means that it does provide a little bit of extra nitrogen, but that 12 in there, that's going to tell us that it's adding a lot of phosphorus, which all soil, all plants need. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this because corn doesn't need as much phosphorus as it needs nitrogen, but it's still nice to have. It's also great because this bone meal is a different color, and so I can see where I've added it and where I haven't. Also notice how I'm always using a glove. Whenever I'm handling fertilizer, I always use a glove. I'll never do that barehanded. I'm just gently mixing this into the top part of the soil. It really doesn't need to go very deep. I'm starting with the peaches and cream, and I've got all of these kernels here. They look like regular corn kernels that you would eat because what you're eating is the actual seed of the plant. I'm gonna plant these about 6 inches apart. I learned my lesson a couple of years ago when I planted them really close together and I barely got any ears of corn. The corn that I did get was really small. Then last year I planted them about 5 or 6 inches apart and it was a really great successful year. However, I also had to keep in mind that you do need a big patch of corn plants in order for them to pollinate each other. This soil is so loose that I'm just going to put them where I want them to be, and then I'm going to push them into the soil. So that one belongs just a little too close together. And I'm gonna take it and push it right in. I probably could put one right there in the corner. I want them about an inch into the soil. There you go. Next, I'm moving on to popcorn, and I'm curious to see if the kernels look a little different. They do. They look like popcorn, which is so cool. I'm gonna plant them the exact same way that I just planted those peaches and cream, and I'm not gonna really do anything different. Hopefully it's as easy as corn is, sweet corn is, but we're gonna find out. My last variety is honey and cream. And what's interesting about these kernels is that they are pink. The kernels aren't actually pink. This is a coating that they put on to help with disease resistance. And it just shows that that's actually there. That's why they make it a certain color, so that you know that that protection is around each kernel. So corn is planted, and we'll be checking back in periodically throughout the summer to see the progress of the plants. But right now, I've got to go inside and cut up my sourdough. I'm heading into the main garden to harvest a couple of things, and then I'm going to go inside and check out my fresh sourdough. The first thing I'm going to get are these chives. These chives have grown outside of the bed, which is perfectly fine. I just have to make sure that I mulch around them every year, but I only need a few for what I'm thinking about. And the next thing I need is some of this oregano. Again, I don't need too much because this oregano is actually pretty strong. Before I cut this up, I'm actually going to chop up these chives and oregano and add them to this bowl here. All right, let's open up this sourdough. See what it looks like on the inside. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. It's always a treat to have a fancier olive oil rather than the olive oil that I usually use when I'm cooking. And someone sent this to me and it's so good. I feel like this is the time to use it when I'm having my fresh sourdough and I want something to dip it in. And for this, I really like to use some flaky salt just to bring out the flavors. See if I can get a little bit of all of those chives and oregano. Oh my god, that's so good. Oh my gosh, that olive oil really makes a difference. Wow, that is so good. Oh. You can almost feel a little bit of like pepperiness on the back of your throat from the olive oil. Oh my gosh, that's very enjoyable. I really like that.